Top 5 foods that heal brain cells and restore memory. While you sleep, something profoundly vital is quietly unfolding within your skull at this very moment, often imperceptibly. For millions of individuals over the age of 60, this crucial process is slowly deteriorating night after night without their conscious awareness. This decline isn't attributed to misfortune, nor is it a direct consequence of genetic predispositions or obvious lifestyle errors. Instead, its roots lie in something far more commonplace, something intrinsic to daily routine, the dietary choices made or neglected specifically before bedtime. While this premise might initially strike one as overly simplistic, a deeper exploration will unveil a revolutionary understanding of brain function. By the conclusion of this discussion, you will grasp the intricate workings of your brain in a manner few people ever achieve, and critically, you will possess precise knowledge of actionable changes you can implement starting this very evening. Let us commence with a fundamental inquiry that is astonishingly seldom posed. What exactly transpires within your brain during the hours of sleep? Many commonly envision the brain as simply powering down, akin to a computer entering a quiescent sleep mode. The scientific reality, however, presents an entirely opposite scenario. As your physical body lies motionless and your conscious awareness gently recedes, your brain awakens into a state of astonishing activity, orchestrating one of the most sophisticated biological repair systems yet discovered. Far from resting, it embarks on an intensive nightly regimen of self-cleansing, diligently repairing accumulated damage, and meticulously rebuilding the neural connections indispensable for remembering names with ease, articulating thoughts clearly, and experiencing that coveted mental sharpness upon waking each morning. Herein lies a crucial detail often overlooked. Post-age 60, this exquisitely complex system, vital for cognitive vitality, commences a gradual yet persistent weakening. This deterioration unfolds slowly, silently, often devoid of overt warning signals, frequently progressing for years before its subtle effects become discernible. What renders this situation particularly alarming is the insidious nature of its progression. By the time noticeable symptoms manifest, such as increasing forgetfulness, episodes of confusion, or a persistent mental fog, the underlying damage has typically been accumulating for a substantial duration. Yet, an even more astonishing revelation awaits, one rarely illuminated in casual discussions about brain health. The nutritional elements you consume, particularly during the critical hours leading up to sleep, exert a direct and profound influence on the efficacy of this nightly repair and restoration system. These are not exotic supplements or elaborate medical treatments. Rather, they are real, everyday foods, readily accessible to almost everyone. Among these, 5 specific dietary components distinguish themselves for their extraordinarily powerful effects on the aging brain. Before delving into these specific items, it is imperative to first comprehend the intricate biological mechanisms at play within your brain each night. Once this underlying process is clearly understood, the proposed solutions will not only logically resonate, but will also feel virtually impossible to disregard. Nestled deep within the intricate architecture of your brain operates a sophisticated system, the existence of which scientists only relatively recently brought to light. For many decades, researchers were acutely aware that the brain continuously generates metabolic waste byproducts from its incessant normal activity. These include potentially harmful damaged proteins and various toxic compounds that gradually accumulate throughout the course of the day. However, precisely how the brain efficiently purged itself of this hazardous waste remained an enduring enigma. The eventual unveiling of the answer proved to be nothing short of remarkable. During the profound stages of deep sleep, a vital fluid known as cerebrospinal fluid meticulously navigates through the brain's intricate pathways in a distinctive, wave-like pulsation, effectively flushing away cellular debris and harmful accumulations, much like a persistent tide washing away sediment. This elegantly designed biological plumbing system is now scientifically recognized as the glymphatic system. The efficient removal of these waste products each night plays an absolutely critical role in determining whether your mind retains its clarity and sharpness or gradually succumbs to being overwhelmed by its own internal toxic accumulations. Among the myriad substances this extraordinary system is tasked with clearing, one of the most perilous is a protein known as beta amyloid. You may already be familiar with this particular protein due to its undeniable and strong association with Alzheimer's disease. In a healthy brain that consistently achieves sufficient periods of restorative deep sleep, this protein is diligently flushed out with remarkable efficiency night after night. However, when sleep quality is compromised, either consistently poor or insufficient, or when the brain is deprived of the precise nutritional components necessary to robustly support this vital cleansing process, beta amyloid unfortunately begins to accumulate. This accumulation starts slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, but then steadily and relentlessly builds up over time, progressing night after night, week after week, and year after year. Here is the particularly unsettling realization that should give everyone pause. This dangerous buildup of beta amyloid commences long before any outward symptoms become apparent, long before the earliest signs of memory problems even begin to surface. By the time an individual or their loved ones detect that something is amiss, this silent, destructive process may have already been unfolding unhindered for more than a decade. The unavoidable question that logically emerges then is, what precise connection does this profound biological phenomenon bear to what you choose to consume for your evening meal? The answer, though simple in its phrasing, is undeniably powerful in its implications. Everything. The intricate functioning of the glymphatic system is not governed by willpower or conscious intention. Instead, its operational efficiency is entirely dependent upon precise biological prerequisites. It absolutely necessitates specific, targeted nutrients to perform its critical functions optimally. This includes a consistent supply of healthy fats, essential for maintaining the structural integrity and fluidity of brain cell membranes, a diverse array of vitamins, crucial for supporting efficient nerve signaling, a balance of minerals necessary for regulating complex brain activity, and specialized compounds that effectively control inflammation and mitigate oxidative stress. In the absence of these vital nutritional building blocks, the glymphatic system inevitably slows down, becoming sluggish and less effective. Consequently, metabolic waste begins to accumulate unchecked, resulting in a brain that, upon waking each morning, is subtly but distinctly worse off than it was the evening prior. While this nightly decrement may be so small as to be almost imperceptible at first, when compounded and multiplied across hundreds of nights, spanning entire years, its cumulative effect becomes profoundly significant. This insidious, quiet process of gradual decline, often mistaken for inevitable aging, is precisely how cognitive decline frequently manifests, not as a sudden catastrophic event, but as a slow, steady erosion resulting from consistent undersupport. Most individuals regrettably fail to establish a direct correlation between this progressive cognitive decline and their routine daily habits, particularly their choices for evening meals, until a point where reversing the accumulated damage feels impossibly late. However, by engaging with this information now, your heightened awareness alone positions you in an entirely different and empowered stance. There exists yet another crucial factor that lends an even greater sense of urgency to this burgeoning situation: inflammation. This is a term frequently encountered in everyday discourse, yet its profound and measurable impact within the delicate ecosystem of the brain is rarely understood in a truly meaningful way. Within the cranial confines, inflammation transcends a mere vague concept. It is a tangible, quantifiable force that actively obstructs nearly every repair and restorative process previously discussed. Chronic, low-level inflammation specifically diminishes the brain's innate capacity to efficiently clear waste products, profoundly disrupts the vital stages of deep sleep, weakens the intricate processes of memory formation, and can even inflict damage upon the critical energy-producing structures housed within individual brain cells. After the age of 60, this pervasive form of inflammation becomes exceedingly common, especially prevalent in individuals who are not proactively consuming the essential nutrients required to keep it effectively in check. What renders inflammation particularly insidious and dangerous is its self-perpetuating nature. Poor sleep exacerbates inflammation, and in turn, increased inflammation further compromises sleep quality, thereby creating a detrimental cycle that gradually and relentlessly accelerates the overall decline of optimal brain function. Every single food we are about to discuss plays an integral role in decisively breaking this vicious cycle, not by narrowly targeting just one isolated issue, but by comprehensively supporting the brain in a far more holistic, integrated, and balanced manner. However, the profound narrative of what occurs during sleep extends beyond mere cleaning and repair. Something equally significant and complex is simultaneously transpiring. As the brain diligently clears out accumulated waste, it is also meticulously organizing and consolidating everything you have experienced throughout the preceding day. Every single conversation, every new face encountered, every piece of information absorbed, all of this data is being systematically processed. The brain intelligently strengthens neural connections that hold importance and relevance, while judiciously pruning away those deemed unnecessary. Crucially, it actively transfers vital information into long-term storage, thereby significantly enhancing your ability to recall it effortlessly at a later time. This intricate and fundamental process is heavily reliant upon the specific chemical environment prevalent within your brain, the delicate balance of your neurotransmitters, the structural integrity of your neural connections, and critically, the readily available supply of nutrients required to support them all. And here is where the trajectory takes another critically important turn. Beyond the age of 60, this entire sophisticated system, responsible for optimal cognitive function, becomes inherently less efficient. Natural sleep cycles become increasingly disrupted. The levels of key brain chemicals begin to diminish. Inflammation, as previously discussed, unfortunately rises. The efficiency of nutrient absorption weakens, and even the minuscule energy-producing units located within brain cells, known as mitochondria, start to lose their optimal efficiency. These detrimental changes do not occur in isolation. Rather, they interact dynamically and reinforce each other, thereby accelerating the overall decline in brain health. But, and this is the profoundly important truth, this process of decline is neither fixed nor inevitable. Extensive and consistent research unequivocally demonstrates that deliberate, targeted alterations in dietary habits and overall lifestyle can effectively slow, halt, and in many instances, even significantly reverse various aspects of this cognitive decline, even well into the later decades of life. The human brain is not a static machine, destined merely to wear out. It is an incredibly adaptable and resilient organ. It responds directly and dynamically to the inputs and nourishment you provide. The specific foods we are about to meticulously explore represent some of the most effective and accessible strategies for profoundly supporting its enduring health and optimal function. The very first food on our list is an item many people regrettably overlook. It is modest in size, unpretentious in its presentation, and frequently bypassed on grocery store shelves. Yet, when the conversation turns to profound brain health, it emerges as one of the most potent and beneficial foods you can possibly incorporate into your diet: sardines. At first glance, these small fish may not appear particularly impressive. They are certainly not aggressively marketed as a trendy superfood, nor do they typically feature prominently in fashionable discussions about enhancing memory or actively safeguarding the brain. However, upon a closer examination of their remarkable nutritional composition, it becomes abundantly clear why leading scientists consistently underscore their importance as one of the absolute best choices for nourishing and protecting an aging brain. Sardines are extraordinarily rich in two absolutely essential omega-3 fatty acids: DHA, docosahexaenoic acid, and EPA, icosapentaenoic acid. These are far more than just helpful nutrients. They are, in fact, fundamental structural building blocks of the brain itself. DHA, in particular, constitutes a substantial portion of the structural framework of brain cell membranes. These membranes are not merely passive barriers. They are highly dynamic entities that meticulously control the transmission of electrical and chemical signals between neurons, dictating the efficiency with which information is processed and profoundly influencing how effectively different regions of the brain communicate and coordinate. When there is an insufficient supply of available DHA, these critical cell membranes gradually begin to lose their inherent flexibility. They become more rigid, less responsive to signals, and consequently, less capable of supporting the rapid and complex electrical and chemical signaling upon which sharp thinking and robust memory critically depend. Consider the profound implications of this during sleep. When your brain is intensely engaged in the vital tasks of organizing newly acquired memories and strengthening existing neural connections, signals absolutely must traverse smoothly and efficiently between neurons. However, in a DHA-deficient state, these signals are forced to navigate through a system that has become subtly stiffened and demonstrably less efficient. Over an extended period, the cumulative effect of this seemingly minor inefficiency becomes profoundly significant. Memory recall becomes less reliable, the process of thinking feels noticeably slower, and overall mental clarity regrettably begins to wane. Crucially, because the human body is unable to synthesize sufficient amounts of DHA on its own, the sole reliable method for maintaining optimal levels is through consistent dietary intake. Sardines deliver this essential fatty acid in a highly bioavailable form, meaning the body absorbs and utilizes it with remarkable efficiency, thereby establishing them as one of the most dependable natural sources available. But the extraordinary benefits of sardines extend far beyond their omega-3 content. They are also exceptionally rich in vitamin B12, a crucial nutrient whose absorption often becomes more challenging as we advance in age. This particular vitamin plays an indispensable role in maintaining the integrity and health of the myelin sheath, which serves as the protective insulating layer enveloping nerve fibers. You can metaphorically envision myelin as the protective insulation around electrical wiring. When it is robust, strong, and entirely intact, electrical signals travel quickly, accurately, and without interference. Conversely, when this vital myelin sheath begins to degrade or break down, those crucial signals slow down considerably, weaken significantly, or can even become completely lost along their intended neural pathways. This physiological degradation is precisely one of the primary reasons why vitamin B12 deficiency is so frequently associated with memory impairments and accelerated cognitive decline in older adults. By providing an abundant and readily absorbable supply of B12, sardines directly contribute to safeguarding this critical neural system. They actively support faster, clearer, and more precise communication within the brain, thereby helping to preserve the cognitive precision that underpins sharp and agile thinking. Furthermore, an additional practical advantage elevates sardines above many other fish options. Due to their small size and their position lower on the marine food chain, they contain significantly lower levels of mercury when compared to larger predatory fish, such as tuna or even some types of salmon. This favorable mercury profile means that sardines can be safely consumed more frequently without concern, rendering them an exceptionally easy, convenient, and safe addition to a regular weekly dietary routine. Incorporating sardines 2 to 3 times per week into your meals is generally sufficient to engender a noticeable positive difference over time, especially when conscientiously combined with other supportive brain-boosting foods. Now let us transition our focus to the second remarkable food, an item that has deservedly garnered considerable popularity in recent years, yet whose full, multifaceted impact on comprehensive brain health remains, in many respects, widely underestimated. We are speaking, of course, of avocado. Most people typically perceive it as a trendy culinary ingredient, or simply a source of healthy fats to be incorporated into various dishes. However, its profound and intricate role in robustly supporting the brain extends far beyond these common perceptions. Avocados are abundantly rich in monounsaturated fats, precisely the same beneficial type of fat famously found in high-quality olive oil. These particular fats play an absolutely pivotal role in diligently maintaining the structural integrity and fluidity of brain cells, while simultaneously making significant contributions to improving overall cerebral blood flow. The concept of blood flow might not be an immediate association people instinctively make with peak brain performance, yet its significance is absolutely paramount. While the brain constitutes a relatively small percentage of your total body weight, it disproportionately consumes a substantial portion of your body's total oxygen and energy supply. Every single moment, it relies critically on a steady, uninterrupted supply of oxygenated blood to efficiently deliver oxygen, glucose, and a myriad of essential nutrients to its billions of highly active cells. When this vital blood flow is diminished, even marginally, the brain immediately begins to operate under less than optimal conditions. This scenario is analogous to attempting to run a high-performance machine without providing it with an adequate and consistent supply of its necessary fuel. Over a sustained period, this chronic underperfusion leads inevitably to increased mental fatigue, a noticeable slowing of cognitive processing, and a significant reduction in the efficiency of the brain's crucial nightly repair processes. Avocado actively helps to ameliorate this precarious situation by fostering the health of blood vessels and effectively reducing various factors that might otherwise restrict cerebral circulation. The net result is an enhanced delivery of more oxygen and vital nutrients directly to the brain, particularly during the nocturnal hours when its repair, restoration, and consolidation activities are operating at their absolute peak. However, what renders avocado even more exceptionally valuable for brain health is its impressively high folate content. Folate plays a truly central and indispensable role in a complex biological process known as methylation. While methylation might sound overtly technical, its profound effects are very real, tangible, and remarkably easy to comprehend. Methylation fundamentally influences how crucial neurotransmitters, such as serotonin and dopamine, are synthesized and regulated within the brain. These powerful chemical messengers directly impact mood stability, sustained focus, and overall mental clarity. Furthermore, methylation meticulously controls which specific genes within brain cells are activated or deactivated, including those genes directly responsible for cellular repair and protection mechanisms. In addition, it actively assists the brain in repairing damage to its DNA, a natural occurrence that happens regularly as a consequence of normal metabolic activity. When folate levels are consistently sufficient, these intricate processes run smoothly and efficiently. Conversely, when folate is deficient, the entire methylation system becomes less stable and compromised. This instability can manifest as unpredictable mood shifts, disrupted and unrefreshing sleep patterns, and a gradual, insidious weakening of memory function. Incorporating even half an avocado into your daily meals can readily provide ample folate to effectively support these critical processes. Moreover, when consumed in the evening as part of your dinner, avocado provides a sustained, gradual release of healthy fats throughout the night. These fats are instrumental in transporting other fat-soluble nutrients across the blood-brain barrier and throughout the brain, precisely when this vital organ needs them most for its nightly restorative work. It underscores the principle that it is not solely about what you eat, but also critically when you choose to consume it. And in this regard, avocado fits perfectly into that optimal timing window. Now, we arrive at the third essential food on our list, an item that many people already routinely include in their dietary regimen, often without fully appreciating its profound importance when utilized strategically. we are referring to walnuts. Among the extensive variety of nuts available, walnuts distinctly stand apart due to their unique and exceptionally beneficial combination of nutrients that directly and powerfully support optimal brain function. They are generously rich in omega-3 fatty acids, similar in nature to those found abundantly in sardines, but they also play a critical role in a biological process that is less commonly discussed, yet is incredibly vital for maintaining the health of aging brains. This process involves the meticulous maintenance of the mitochondria, which are the miniature powerhouse structures located inside virtually every cell, singularly responsible for generating the vast majority of the energy required for cellular activity. Every single brain cell relies entirely on its mitochondria to function properly and efficiently. Without a sufficient and consistent supply of cellular energy, even the most fundamental neurological processes begin to inevitably slow down and falter. Over a period of time, damaged or dysfunctional mitochondria can unfortunately accumulate within cells, thereby drastically reducing the overall efficiency of cellular function and concurrently increasing detrimental oxidative stress. The human body possesses a natural, intricate system designed to address this issue, actively identifying and selectively removing damaged mitochondria so that they can be replaced with healthier, fully functional ones. In younger individuals, this cellular cleanup process operates with remarkable efficiency. However, as we naturally age, this vital process unfortunately becomes less effective. Consequently, damaged mitochondria begin to build up unchecked, progressively draining energy from the cells and significantly contributing to the overall decline in cellular and organ function. Walnuts contain specific compounds that are known to actively support this crucial mitochondrial cleanup process, thereby enabling brain cells to maintain a healthier and more balanced state of energy production. This is particularly vital during the nocturnal period of sleep, precisely when the brain is most actively engaged in intensive self-repair and regeneration, a demanding process that absolutely requires a steady and robust supply of readily available energy. In addition to their mitochondrial support, walnuts are also abundant in powerful antioxidants and beneficial polyphenols that collectively help to significantly reduce both oxidative stress and chronic inflammation, both of which are well-established antagonists of optimal brain function. A small, convenient handful of walnuts consumed in the evening can furnish consistent and meaningful support for these essential systems, helping the brain to steadfastly maintain its vital energy reserves and its inherent resilience over the passage of time. As you can observe, our discussion is not merely confined to isolated nutritional benefits. Each of these remarkable foods is strategically addressing a distinct yet interconnected component of the same overarching system, enhancing structural integrity, improving crucial blood flow, optimizing cellular energy production, and providing robust protection. And we are only halfway through our exploration. The subsequent foods will further intricately connect these individual pieces, revealing how they synergistically operate together in profound ways that most people rarely, if ever, consider. Now let us turn our attention to the fourth essential food. In many respects, this is precisely where the pieces of our intricate puzzle truly begin to coalesce into a comprehensive picture. If there is one singular food on this entire list that profoundly impacts multiple crucial biological systems simultaneously, effectively supporting restorative sleep, optimizing cerebral blood flow, enhancing robust memory function, and providing comprehensive neural protection, it is unequivocally spinach. At an initial glance, spinach might not appear as overtly powerful or exciting as some of the other featured foods. However, upon a meticulous examination of its precise actions within the human body, it becomes strikingly evident that spinach plays an absolutely central and indispensable role in maintaining the brain's peak functionality, especially during the nocturnal hours when its critical repair and restorative processes are operating at their zenith. Spinach is remarkably rich in folate, much like avocado, but often in even higher and more concentrated amounts. This generous folate content signifies that spinach directly supports the efficient production of crucial neurotransmitters, thereby actively assisting in the regulation of stable mood, sustained focus, and overall mental clarity. It also assumes a pivotal role in the ongoing repair of DNA within brain cells, a process of paramount importance because these highly active cells are perpetually exposed to various forms of oxidative stress throughout the waking day. Every conscious thought, every coordinated action, every single moment of neural activity inadvertently generates minute amounts of cellular damage at the microscopic level. And without consistent, proper repair mechanisms in place, that cumulative damage inexorably builds up over time. Spinach proactively helps the brain to stay well ahead of this relentless degenerative process. However, what truly distinguishes spinach and elevates its importance is its exceptional magnesium content. Magnesium is, without doubt, one of the most frequently overlooked yet profoundly critical nutrients when it comes to comprehensive brain health. Yet, its influence on the quality and depth of sleep is direct, immediate, and remarkably powerful. It actively helps to regulate the nervous system, effectively calming excessive and disruptive neural activity, thereby gracefully facilitating the brain's transition into the deeper, more restorative stages of sleep. And it is precisely within these deep stages of sleep that the most vital and intricate repair work takes place, where the glymphatic system achieves its highest levels of activity, and where the crucial process of memory consolidation reaches its absolute peak efficiency. In individuals who do not consume adequate amounts of magnesium, a deficiency that is regrettably extremely common in adults over the age of 60, sleep patterns become noticeably lighter and more fragmented. The brain struggles considerably to consistently attain and maintain these essential deeper phases, which means that the critical cleaning and repair processes are repeatedly interrupted and rendered incomplete. Over time, this consistent disruption inevitably leads to a gradual, insidious buildup of cerebral waste products and a corresponding decline in overall cognitive performance. Spinach actively helps to rectify this precarious situation by fostering a more stable, profound, and genuinely restorative sleep pattern, thereby providing the brain with the optimal conditions it absolutely requires to function properly and efficiently throughout the crucial nightly repair cycle. Beyond its indispensable magnesium content, spinach also contains naturally occurring nitrates, which the body ingeniously converts into nitric oxide. This remarkable compound acts as a powerful vasodilator, meaning it helps to relax and widen blood vessels, significantly improving circulation throughout the entire body, critically including the brain. Enhanced cerebral blood flow translates directly into a more efficient delivery of oxygen and vital nutrients precisely where they are needed most, particularly during periods of intense activity, such as the brain's nocturnal repair work. It also substantially augments the brain's capacity to absorb glucose, which serves as the primary and preferred energy source for neurons actively engaged in rebuilding and strengthening intricate connections. Spinach extends its beneficial reach even further by supplying a valuable amount of vitamin K, a nutrient that supports the formation of specialized fats, crucial for the composition of the myelin sheath, the protective insulating layer around nerve fibers that guarantees rapid and highly efficient signal transmission. Furthermore, it contains vitamin E, a potent antioxidant that vigilantly protects delicate brain cell membranes from harmful oxidative damage. This cellular protection becomes especially crucial during sleep, when the brain is intensely repairing itself and urgently needs to preserve the structural integrity of its precious cells. Interestingly, the specific method of preparing spinach also holds significance. Gently cooking spinach, for instance, helps to judiciously break down certain compounds that might otherwise interfere with optimal mineral absorption, thereby making vital nutrients like magnesium more readily available and absorbable by the body. A generous serving of cooked spinach incorporated into your evening meal is unequivocally one of the most effective and holistic strategies to simultaneously support multiple critical brain functions, particularly for anyone dedicated to maintaining sustained mental clarity and robust memory function over the long term. Now we arrive at the fifth and final food on this elucidating list, and this particular item possesses the remarkable ability to not only encompass many of the profound benefits we have already thoroughly discussed, but to amplify them even further, conferring an intensified advantage. We are talking about mackerel. If sardines serve as the steady, reliably consistent source of essential fatty acids, then mackerel can be considered their more concentrated, potent counterpart, richer, more powerful, and perfectly synchronized with the precise nutritional requirements of the aging brain during its nightly, rigorous repair cycles. Mackerel is exceptionally abundant in omega-3 fatty acids, with particularly high concentrations of both DHA and EPA. These beneficial fats perform more than just supporting the structural integrity of brain cells. They also exert strong and profound anti-inflammatory effects directly within the brain itself. This anti-inflammatory action is of paramount importance because inflammation, as previously underscored, stands as one of the primary factors that severely disrupts restorative sleep, inflicts damage upon delicate neurons, and significantly interferes with the brain's inherent capacity for self-repair. Within the intricate neural landscape, specialized immune cells exist, whose primary role is to protect and maintain a delicate balance. However, when these cells become hyperactive, a common and detrimental issue associated with the aging process, they regrettably begin to release pro-inflammatory substances that can actually harm and degrade brain tissue. This unfortunate scenario creates a vicious feedback loop where inflammation begets more damage, which in turn fuels even greater inflammation. The omega-3s generously supplied by mackerel actively help to decisively interrupt this destructive cycle, guiding the neural immune system back into a state of healthy balance and significantly reducing unnecessary stress on vital brain cells. Furthermore, mackerel also plays a crucial role in actively supporting the production of a specific compound essential for both learning and memory formation. This remarkable compound is instrumental in promoting the growth of new neural connections, rigorously strengthening existing ones, and robustly supporting the brain's innate capacity to adapt and intelligently respond to novel information and experiences. In simpler terms, it functions akin to a potent growth factor for the brain, helping it to remain flexible, agile, and highly responsive, rather than gradually becoming rigid and slow over the inexorable march of time. And one of the most reliable and effective ways to consistently maintain healthy levels of this brain-optimizing compound is through the regular dietary intake of omega-3 fatty acids, thoughtfully including mackerel in your diet once or twice a week, ideally alongside sardines, establishes a consistent and robust supply of these indispensable fats. This sustained consistency is precisely what enables the brain to diligently maintain its optimal structure, significantly reduce harmful inflammation, and powerfully support the intricate processes that keep memory sharp and thinking lucid. At this juncture, your thoughts might naturally be focused on these remarkable foods individually. How sardines fortify structural integrity, avocado enhances cerebral blood flow, walnuts bolster cellular energy, spinach profoundly improves sleep and provides protective benefits, and mackerel acts to mitigate inflammation. However, here is where the truly profound insight begins to emerge, an understanding that most people completely overlook. These extraordinary foods are emphatically not designed to operate in isolation. They are, in essence, integral components of a synergistic biological system, and when judiciously combined, they collectively forge an internal environment, specifically within the brain, that is exponentially more powerful and effective than any single food could ever achieve independently. Each one strategically targets a different yet interconnected layer of the same overarching problem, and together they provide comprehensive support to the brain in a manner that feels almost perfectly coordinated and harmonized. Sardines and mackerel synergistically strengthen and diligently maintain the physical structure of brain cells while simultaneously and effectively reducing inflammation. Avocado notably improves vital blood flow and supports the crucial balance of brain chemicals. Walnuts contribute significantly to maintaining optimal energy production by robustly supporting healthy cellular function. Spinach profoundly enhances sleep quality, further improves circulation throughout the brain, and vigilantly protects delicate brain cells from pervasive damage. And when all of these potent elements are working in concert, the synergistic result is a finely tuned system that collectively supports extensive repair, fosters pristine clarity, and builds long-term neural resilience. However, there remains one more critically important piece to this intricate puzzle, an aspect that most people regrettably never consider, and it holds the potential to dramatically amplify the efficacy of everything discussed thus far: timing. We will meticulously explore this crucial dimension in the next section, because when you fully grasp not merely what to eat, but critically when to eat it, every insight you have gained so far becomes exponentially more powerful and transformative. Now, we delve into the part that subtly yet profoundly alters the entire landscape of what you have just assimilated, and it is a facet that the vast majority of people consistently neglect to prioritize, even if they possess extensive knowledge of all the correct beneficial foods: the precise timing of consumption. It is not simply about what nourishing foods you ingest, but equally, if not more importantly, when you choose to ingest them. This temporal element exerts a direct, measurable, and significant impact on how effectively your brain can harness and utilize those vital nutrients during its critical nocturnal repair cycle. You could meticulously incorporate all 5 of these remarkably beneficial foods into your weekly routine, yet still inadvertently forfeit a substantial portion of their potential benefits if they are consumed haphazardly, without any thoughtful consideration for the specific periods when your brain most urgently requires them. Reflect for a moment on the physiological events that naturally transpire in the hours following your evening meal. As your body progressively transitions towards the profound state of sleep, it commences a delicate shift into a distinct operational mode. The processes of digestion gradually decelerate, hormonal profiles undergo significant alterations, and, most importantly, the brain diligently prepares itself to enter the deeper restorative stages of sleep, the very stages where the most critical and complex repair processes are actively initiated and executed. This specific nocturnal window is precisely when the glymphatic system attains its maximal activity, when the indispensable process of memory consolidation reaches its absolute zenith, and when the brain requires a steady, readily available supply of specialized nutrients to execute all of this demanding work with optimal efficiency. If the very nutrients upon which your brain critically depends are already actively circulating within your bloodstream during this precise physiological window, then the entire system operates with significantly greater smoothness and efficacy. The healthy fats required to diligently maintain cell membranes are immediately available for structural reinforcement. The essential vitamins necessary for optimal neurotransmitter function are present and ready for chemical signaling. The vital minerals that profoundly support deep, restorative sleep are metabolically active. The specialized compounds that effectively reduce detrimental inflammation are already diligently in place. In essence, by strategically timing your nutrient intake, you are not merely asking your body to store nutrients for later use, Rather, you are precisely delivering them at the exact moment when the physiological demand is at its absolute peak. This profound alignment is precisely why consuming these specific foods in the evening as an integral component of your dinner generates a fundamentally different and amplified level of impact compared to scattering their consumption randomly throughout the waking day. It meticulously aligns nutrient availability with acute biological need. And for an aging body, where the natural efficiency of nutrient absorption and utilization may already be somewhat reduced, this meticulous alignment becomes even more critically important. Every minute advantage, every subtle optimization begins to matter exponentially more, and these accumulating advantages start to build powerfully upon each other in a virtuous cycle. Consider a practical yet profound example: an evening meal that thoughtfully incorporates mackerel, a generous portion of freshly cooked spinach, and half an avocado. This is not merely a healthy meal in a general abstract sense. Rather, it proactively engineers a specific and highly beneficial internal biochemical environment. Within a mere few hours, the fatty acid profile circulating in your bloodstream undergoes a positive shift. The bioavailability of crucial magnesium and folate dramatically increases. Blood vessels throughout the body, including the delicate cerebral vasculature, begin to subtly relax and improve their overall circulation. Pro-inflammatory signals within the system start to perceptibly decrease. All of these salutary changes commence the very same night, not weeks or months later, and they directly and profoundly influence how effectively your brain performs its indispensable nightly repair and restorative work. This immediate biochemical impact is precisely what renders the process so remarkably powerful. The beneficial effects are neither distant nor significantly delayed. They are tangible and immediate at the precise biochemical level. And when this strategic approach is repeated consistently, these positive effects begin to compound exponentially. One night of enhanced neurological improvement seamlessly leads to another and then yet another, gradually forging a powerful, sustained pattern that robustly supports superior brain function over the long term. The discernible difference between an individual who occasionally adheres to this dietary pattern and someone who embraces it consistently becomes strikingly clear when one examines the long-term cognitive outcomes. A person who consciously eats this way 2 or 3 nights per week is undeniably moving in a positive direction, furnishing their brain with substantially more support than it would otherwise receive. However, an individual who conscientiously follows this pattern 5 or 6 nights per week is actively constructing a far stronger, more stable, and profoundly resilient neurological foundation. Over the span of weeks and months, that consistent adherence profoundly begins to reshape the brain itself, its fundamental structure, its operational efficiency, and its intrinsic capacity to diligently repair and protect itself against age-related decline. It is absolutely crucial to grasp that this approach is not predicated on an unattainable ideal of perfection. Rather, it is fundamentally about establishing consistent and beneficial patterns. A single, well-balanced dinner, while certainly helpful, represents only one solitary step in a much larger journey. It is the consistent, sustained pattern of supportive, nutrient-rich meals that ultimately engenders truly meaningful and lasting physiological change. It is akin to the stark difference between hearing a single musical note and experiencing the full emotional impact of an entire symphony. The comprehensive and profound effect only truly becomes evident over time, as each individual part meticulously builds upon the last. This principle also unequivocally highlights where whole, unprocessed foods demonstrate their undeniable and superior advantage over isolated nutritional supplements. It is not to suggest that supplements are inherently useless. They can indeed possess genuine value in highly specific and targeted situations. However, they are inherently incapable of replicating the exquisite complexity, the synergistic interactions, and the complete nutritional matrix found within real, unadulterated foods. When you consume something as elemental as spinach, avocado, or walnuts, you are not merely ingesting one isolated nutrient in capsule form. Instead, you are receiving an intricate and harmonious combination of diverse vitamins, essential minerals, healthy fats, dietary fiber, and a myriad of bioactive compounds that intrinsically interact with one another in complex ways that profoundly enhance and amplify their overall beneficial effect. For instance, the healthy fats naturally present in avocado and sardines significantly aid your body in absorbing the fat-soluble vitamins found in spinach more effectively and efficiently. The dietary fiber abundant in spinach influences precisely how other nutrients are processed within the complex digestive system, thereby improving their overall bioavailability to the body. The unique compounds present in walnuts interact synergistically with the gut microbiota in ways that generate additional beneficial substances, which in turn further benefit the brain. These intricate interactions are profoundly layered and interconnected, representing a level of biological complexity that simply cannot be replicated or confined within a single capsule or powdered formula. This is precisely why a steadfast focus on whole foods, particularly when consumed in the right synergistic combinations, consistently yields results that feel far more complete, holistic, and sustainable in the long term. You are not merely targeting one isolated biochemical pathway. Instead, you are simultaneously supporting multiple interconnected systems, thereby enabling the entire body to function in a more balanced, efficient, and ultimately healthier manner. And when you strategically combine this holistic approach with precise timing, consciously integrating these beneficial foods into your evening routine, you begin to forge a powerful and synergistic alignment between the nourishing inputs your body receives and the precise physiological requirements of your brain. It is not about implementing anything extreme or overtly complicated. Rather, it is about making deliberate, well-informed, and conscious choices within a segment of your day that most people typically treat as mere routine. Now pause for a moment and deeply consider the practical implications of this profound understanding. Every single evening, you are presented with a direct decision that will immediately and significantly influence how effectively your brain will operate during the crucial nocturnal hours. The vast majority of people remain entirely oblivious to this powerful truth. They instinctively select their meals based on ingrained habit, fleeting convenience, or simple taste preferences, without giving any conscious thought to the profound, long-term impact these choices will exert. However, once you genuinely comprehend what is truly transpiring within your neural architecture, those seemingly mundane dietary choices begin to carry immense weight and significance. You are no longer merely deciding what sustenance to consume. You are, in effect, actively determining how efficiently and effectively your brain will undertake its vital self-repair processes, how thoroughly it will clear accumulated waste products, how robustly it will consolidate and store precious memories, and ultimately, how crisply and clearly you will be able to think the very next day. And when viewed from this enlightened perspective, even the smallest, most seemingly insignificant dietary adjustments begin to feel far more meaningful and impactful. Yet, there remains one final, culminating piece to this intricate puzzle, and it is the element that ultimately integrates everything we have discussed, because this discussion transcends mere individual nights or isolated dietary choices. It is fundamentally about the long-term trajectory and enduring health you are actively charting for your brain. Let us now meticulously bring everything together, because what you have absorbed thus far is not simply a disparate collection of ideas pertaining to food or sleep. It represents a complete and transformative paradigm shift in how you fundamentally understand your brain and the profoundly influential role you personally play in actively shaping its future. For most individuals, the concept of cognitive decline often feels like an immutable, distant, and utterly unavoidable destiny, something inextricably linked to the natural aging process that simply happens over time. However, the understanding you now possess paints a radically different picture. Your brain is not a passive recipient of age-related degradation. Instead, it is an exquisitely dynamic organ, actively and continuously responding every single day to the specific inputs it receives. And one of the most potent and influential of those inputs is something as seemingly ordinary and routine as your evening meal. Extensive and ongoing research consistently demonstrates that the human brain retains a remarkable capacity for adaptability and neuroplasticity even well into the later decades of life. Individuals in their 70s and 80s who consciously implement deliberate and targeted changes to their dietary habits, especially by consistently incorporating nutrient-dense whole foods like the ones we have meticulously discussed, frequently report and objectively experience measurable, tangible improvements. These are not merely theoretical benefits or vague, unsubstantiated promises. Rather, they are real, discernible enhancements in memory function, mental clarity, overall sleep quality, and a profound resurgence of mental energy. These significant improvements manifest clearly in the fabric of daily life, in conversations that flow with greater ease and articulation, in thoughts that materialize more swiftly and coherently, and in a renewed sense of mental sharpness and acuity that many people mistakenly presume is irrevocably lost with advancing age. This positive transformation occurs because the brain is ceaselessly striving to repair and restore itself. Every single night, as you gently surrender to sleep, it autonomously recommences this vital process, diligently clearing out metabolic waste, meticulously rebuilding and strengthening crucial neural connections, and systematically restoring optimal cognitive function. It does not cease this inherent restorative activity regardless of your chronological age. What fundamentally changes, however, is the effectiveness with which it can execute these vital tasks. And that efficacy depends overwhelmingly on whether it has access to the precise and adequate biological resources. When those essential resources are lacking or insufficient, the entire intricate system struggles and falters. Conversely, when those resources are abundantly present and readily available, the system functions precisely as it was ingeniously designed to, with optimal efficiency and resilience. And that brings us full circle to a remarkably simple yet profoundly powerful truth. The pivotal decision regarding whether your brain receives those indispensable resources is made not in a distant doctor's office, nor within the confines of some abstract future plan, but rather intimately at your very own dinner table. It resides within those dietary choices that in the moment may seem minor or inconsequential, but actually carry profound long-term consequences for your cognitive destiny. For countless years, most people instinctively make those choices without any deep reflection, merely relying on entrenched habit or fleeting convenience, never fully realizing the immense neurological stake involved. But now, you perceive this reality with pristine clarity. You possess a comprehensive understanding of the intricate processes that unfold within your brain during the nocturnal hours. You comprehend how the vital glymphatic system depends critically on deep, restorative sleep and meticulously tailored nutrition. You understand precisely how pervasive inflammation actively interferes with the brain's capacity for repair and how specific foods actively help to mitigate it. You are aware of how the crucial process of memory consolidation relies upon a stable and optimized chemical environment, robustly supported by the very nutrients you consciously provide. And you are now profoundly aware that the foods you choose, sardines, mackerel, avocado, walnuts, and spinach, each play a distinct and indispensable role in synergistically supporting these complex and vital processes. More importantly, you now grasp the overarching truth that these foods function most effectively when integrated and consumed together, not as isolated fixes, but as integral components of a larger, interconnected biological system, a system that actively supports and maintains optimal structural integrity, profoundly improves cerebral blood flow, diligently sustains robust cellular energy production, effectively reduces harmful inflammation, significantly enhances the quality of sleep, and vigilantly protects delicate brain cells from pervasive damage. When all of these critical elements are harmoniously in place, the brain is empowered to accomplish what it has always instinctively striven to do: to heal, to adapt, and to continuously improve. So now, the profound question transforms into a deeply personal one. Every evening, you are confronted with a choice. It may not feel intrinsically significant in that particular moment, but it directly and powerfully determines how well your brain will function during the subsequent hours of sleep. Most individuals never contemplate it in this light. They consume whatever happens to be readily available, whatever is familiar, or whatever appeals to their immediate palate, entirely disconnected from the profound biological events that will unfold hours later within their mind. But you, crucially, are no longer in that position of unawareness. You now possess a clear, unambiguous understanding of the direct cause and effect. You know with certainty that what you choose to eat tonight will unequivocally influence how effectively your brain clears out accumulated waste products, how powerfully it strengthens and consolidates new memories, and how extensively it can repair cellular damage before the dawn of morning. This is not an abstract philosophical concept or a mere motivational platitude. It is a fundamental biological reality, rigorously supported by scientific research and consistently observed in tangible, real-world outcomes. And once you truly internalize this understanding, it irrevocably alters how you perceive even the simplest of daily decisions. Dinner, then, is no longer solely about merely satisfying immediate hunger. It evolves into a profound opportunity, a deliberate chance to actively support one of the most vital and intricate systems within your entire body. It becomes a conscious decision to provide your brain with precisely what it needs at the exact moment it needs it most. There is also an immensely empowering dimension to this realization. It signifies that regardless of your chronological age, and irrespective of your past dietary habits, you still possess significant influence and agency over the cognitive direction your brain is heading. You are not confined to a predetermined or fixed path. You are not simply a passive observer waiting for inevitable cognitive decline to manifest. Instead, you are an active participant, consciously shaping what comes next for your brain through consistent, deliberate, and informed dietary choices. This transformative process does not necessitate extreme, arduous changes or overly complicated, intricate plans. It begins simply with heightened awareness and meticulously builds through consistent repetition. An evening meal that thoughtfully includes even 2 or 3 of these beneficial foods represents a significant step in the right positive direction. And it is the consistent repetition of that positive pattern over time that ultimately generates truly lasting and profound impact. The brain, by its very nature, responds powerfully to consistency, and over the span of weeks and months, those repeated, informed choices begin to fundamentally reshape its structure, its function, and its enduring resilience. So, take a moment now and profoundly reflect on this truth. Every single night, your remarkable brain is tirelessly working on your behalf, diligently doing everything within its capacity to restore, repair, and protect itself. It is not demanding anything unrealistic or beyond your reach. It is simply, yet powerfully, responding to the vital resources you choose to provide. The only remaining question then is whether you are genuinely giving it what it unequivocally needs to not just survive, but to truly thrive and succeed. Because now, armed with this knowledge, you simply cannot unknow this truth. You thoroughly understand the entire system, from the intricate glymphatic process actively clearing waste, to the indispensable role of targeted nutrients in meticulously maintaining structural integrity and optimal function, to the paramount importance of precise timing in delivering those critical nutrients exactly when they matter most. That profound knowledge will forever remain with you, and it leads us directly to one final resonant question, a question that appears simple on the surface, but carries immense weight and profound implications once you truly grasp the biological reality behind it. What are you going to have for dinner tonight?